Good morning and welcome to section 31 of the Grand Tour of Northumberland. Today we are going to be looking at some Bronze Age burial sites, an Iron Age hill fort, a medieval church, 18th century abandoned farmhouse and a couple of natural features. So join me for section 31 of the Grand Tour of Northumberland.
Digging through a closet, walled cities, past lives and boxes, music absorbed till it seeped from my skin. Can't stand to hear it. Meaning's more to me than photographs. Pictures of backyard and northern sunsets are all that exist in my mind. Freshly cut lawns and daytime sprinklers, spider webs on a gray wooden fence. I remember the chameleon.
So starting again from Chillingham Castle where we left off last time. It's closed at the moment because I'm here quite early. And we're heading down this road here. Chillingham is quite famous for its wild cattle. There's been a cattle park at Chillingham since medieval times, and the cattle have been left to breed wild for about 700 years, in which time their DNA has remained relatively pure. So if you want to see what a cow looked like back 700 years ago, come to Chillingham, see the wild cows, and that's the kind of cow that you'll be looking at. Okay, so when we come to this gate in the wall, and you can see behind it already that there's a tower, we're going to go through this gate and have a closer look at the tower. I mean, this is trespassing and the gate is double padlocked and there's barbed wire on the fences, so you have to climb over the gate but climb over at the hinge end. So this here is Hebburn Bastel. It's actually a 15th century medieval tower house that was first mentioned in 1509. Alterations were made in the 16th and 17th centuries. By 1562 it was described as a mansion house. It was abandoned in the late 18th century. And apparently there's security surveillance here as well. It is possible to climb up onto there if you wanted to. I've no particular desire, to be honest. There's a camera up there monitoring you. As I said, it's trespassing to be here, so if someone's looking on the other end of the camera, someone might come and say hello. Zero windows on the north side. Oh no, there's one window there. Added at a later date, the windows. Okay. If you want to have a look inside, Damien does a really good video on this place, so I'll put a link to his channel underneath. Very impressive. Didn't realise how impressive it was until I got up close. As I said, you could climb up there, and I think Damien does, but there is a security camera there. Whether someone's watching the other side of the security camera, who knows. But I'm going to be heading off into the woods soon, and if anyone comes, they won't find me here. So when you get to the Hebburn Forestry England car park, we're heading in this direction. It's a very, very warm day. It's very muggy, and I'm wearing gaiters as well, which is not helping. But I've got some heather bashing to do later on, hence the gaiters. Got the temptation just to take them off and carry them. And might end up doing that yet. Yeah, so after you cross the car park, heading into the woods, hopefully it should be cooler there. Just before you enter the woods, look at that view. There's the Cheviot hedge up. Pretty fantastic, isn't it? See Lilburn over there in the distance. You can see where the Hurlstone is. Amazing. You're probably going to get sick of that view by the time we're finished. This is a cist and capstone Bronze Age grave used in 2000 BC. It's very heavily overgrown, so I'm not sure you're going to actually see much. There's the capstone, and you can make out the grave there. Now, some people think that this is a real one, and other people think that it's a replica one, and I am unsure which it is which. Having seen it, I'm kind of on the it's a replica side, but as I said, we're going to be seeing a real one later on in this walk. So we're going to head up here a little bit. Be warned, the paths aren't exactly where the OS map says they are. They're slightly off. And as you can see, they're not really maintained at all. Apparently, it's a bit of a steep, overgrown climb in very hot, humid conditions. This looks interesting, doesn't it? I think what we're looking for is over there. Let's have a look at this first. Almost looks like a burial cairn in itself, doesn't it? The path keeps coming and going. It's not very clear. So this is what we've come to see. One of the natural wonders of today. It's a huge giant boulder, which is incredibly popular with the climbing fraternity. You probably won't appreciate how big it is until I put the camera down and go and walk next to it. So unless you're massively into big rocks or you're part of the rock climbing, bouldering fraternity, I would probably give that a miss at this time of year. Maybe you're alright in the winter where it's less overgrown and the insect life is a little bit less exotic, but that's about the third time I've had to do a tick check. So when you come back out of the path, you'll have to go back the same way. It's probably just as easy just to go back to the junction and turn left. You could continue along this path, they both lead to the same place. It's a big circular, but the idea on the OS map is that it goes around in a circular, that little path that's heavily overgrown. But once you get to the boulder, that's about as far as you can go. So double back on yourself. As I said, unless you're into big rocks, just give it a miss. So if you walk up the path a little bit, there's actually this gate, and it's really easy just to hop over there. And there's a pathway that goes across the field here that people have been using. So I think I'm going to use this pathway, shepherd or no shepherd. Let's see what he says. Actually, I'll let him finish rounding up his sheep first. This is called Buick Folly. How beautiful is this place? Stunning. And we have a surprise in the field. Exotic animals from South America. So according to my map, the footpath heads across there. One last look at this place. Beautiful. See me now. There it goes. Young stag. That's where we're headed, down there. And look at the views. Magnificent. The path heads down here, and we're supposed to go through the wood. Well, there is a gate here, although it'll be easier just to cross the broken fence. I'm not sure if there's much of a path. Seems to be one going down there, possibly. Okay, it's not too bad actually. It's less overgrown than the rock, and there's a nice little bridge here. I don't know if that's just a field I've just come along the side here, or if that's referring to this field. Although this field just looks like crops. So after you come through that gate, blink and you'll miss it. You need to go across here. Nice stone slab of a bridge. It's pretty impressive. And this is what we've come to see. Beautiful. Yeah, before we even have a look at the church, just look at the graveyard. Look at these gravestones over here. Absolutely fabulous. That big chunks of rock. Quite modern as well, actually. They look really old, but they're quite new. There are some really old graves here though. Just not these ones. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of graveyards, but some of the gravestones here are pretty impressive. That one's like made out of a tree, almost like a stone tree. 1855. Oh, this looks interesting. $1908. Okay, so here's the back of the church. I believe it's closed at the moment. I'm not sure we're going to be able to get in, but we'll have a look in any case. Jonathan Steele, 1854, with an iron cross. Almost an appropriate grave marker for a surname like Steele, isn't it? That looks very primitive, doesn't it? It's open on the first Sunday of the month, any case, but immediately when you come in on your left hand side, there's the remains of a medieval cross staff that seems to have been reused as a plague stone. Now, plague stone was where food was left for people who were suffering from the plague in 1604, and those who took the food left their payment in the hollow of the stone. And some cyclists said that it was closed today, so let's go and have a look. See, it's open. You can go in. Church is 12th century, although there's likely there was an Anglo-Saxon church here beforehand. Like lots of carvings and stuff on the walls. See, like the faces, like cats. Doesn't have that on that side. As I said, Holy Trinity Church was built in the 12th century and it was restored in the 13th and 14th century, likely after Scottish raids. Again in 1695, after supposedly another Scottish raid, and in 1866 the roof was replaced. It had been gifted to Tynemouth Priory by Queen Maud in 1107. It's a beautiful church. Apparently the bell dates back from the 15th century. So as we leave the church, we go back exactly the same way that we came and continue along the footpath. That church was so beautiful. Definitely worth the detour to take. I nearly didn't come to see it. So glad I did. So we're just following the track around the field and we're headed to Old Buick over there. The signpost says Old Buick Church, but it is the Holy Trinity Church, its proper name. Chapel of Holy Trinity, Old Buick services, first Sunday of every month. But the good thing about coming onto the road bit is that you get to see this cross. This is the old schoolhouse at Old Buick. It says Church School 1860. It's now somebody's residence. WWII 1.5 miles, Quarry House 3.5. So once you get to this gate, instead of continuing to WWII, we're going to follow this track up the top of the hill to the top of Buick Hill instead. As I was coming up, I spotted this. I don't know if it is or not, but it almost looks like it's the possible remains of a Bronze Age cist. You've got like the square here and a capstone there. As I said, I don't know if it is or not. It's not marked on any map, but it's very similar to one. So this is what we've come to see. I'll show you get that. There's a huge mound there and another one over there. So get some comparison maybe. And there's another one inside. So that's the outer wall of an Iron Age hill fort. This is the middle wall, and there's a third wall. Clearly see this on the ground. I don't know if you pick it up on the camera, but you've got the wall there, wall here, massive wall there. It's huge. See if I can put some scale to the place. Wow, it's really impressive. This is the West Fort. What makes this site unique is that it's a twin fort. There are two forts here next to each other. So you have the West Fort here, where they found the remains of at least 4 roundhouses, and then right next door is another Iron Age hill fort. So you got this. These are the walls of the West Fort. And then you're going into the walls of the East Fort. And again, these walls are massive. They're much bigger than me. Huge. And then this is the East Fort, where they found 8 roundhouses in here. But it's a little bit overgrown, so you can't really make out where those roundhouses were. But God, the views are amazing. And we have this relic from World War II as well. Now, Donovan Sr. asked me to keep this place a secret from the Grand Tour, but it's the only example of a twin Iron Age hill fort that I found in Northumberland. I couldn't exactly leave off something that was so unique. And look at the rhododendrons. Wow. Fantastic. What a place. Yeah, bring a torch for this one. Pretty cool, isn't it? Sorry, Donna. So I stopped and had my lunch here. And what a place to have your lunch. Look at that. Absolutely fantastic. Could you have picked a better spot for lunch? I don't think so. It's amazing. Look at that. You know, up until now, I think Hughes Crags was easily the best view that we've had on the Grand Tour, followed by the ones near Simonburn. I think, is it Ravenhof or Ravenclough? I remember I got it wrong, so I'm probably getting it wrong again. Those crags there were really stunning as well, the views, but this one takes the biscuit like. This is by far the best view we've had on the Grand Tour so far. Absolutely fantastic. Now some of these rocks around here have got rock carvings, so we're going to see if we can try and find them. So first of all we have to leave the iron fort, and then it's somewhere over there, there's some rocks, and then we'll be heading to WWII after that, but we'll be calling to see something else in between. Just outside the Iron Age Hill fort, something a lot older. This stone here has got cup marks. See the cup marks here. Apparently that big rock over there has as well, and possibly one over there. So let's go and have a look. Yeah, so it's very weathered. But there are some ring marks on here. See there? There's some more over here. There's another one there. It's very weathered. You got some cup marks over here. We have no idea what these mean. There could be stars in the sky, it could be a map of hill forts even, although we believe that they're much older than the hill forts. We believe that they're Neolithic in age. As I said, we don't know what they are. Wow, this rock is absolutely peppered with cup mark areas. Oh, some of this will be erosion as well. Cup mark. Cup mark. This is a ring actually, there's a ring around here. It's very weathered. There's more cup marks. It's very weathered, it's difficult to see. There's another ring there. And that looks like it was once upon a time a ring, but it's like worn away. And this one here looks like it was a massive ring here. You see it? Again, it's nearly worn away. We believe the ring marks are Neolithic, possibly Bronze Age. They're found throughout Europe, especially in Ireland and the northeast of England. It's not marked on the map as such, but it feels like I'm in a Bronze Age graveyard, to be honest. Like a lot of these stones seem to be like a flat stone with like stones forming a square around them. It's not marked on the map as such though. There is a Bronze Age graveyard nearby, but I'll tell you more about that later on. So we're going to head across the field in this direction and meet up with the track that we were coming up on. This here is WWII Cairn, and this most definitely is a Bronze Age burial site because it's been excavated. There's one cyst straight away. They found at least 4 cysts here, possibly 5. There's another one here, so there's 2. Dates from the early Bronze Age. I think that there is 3. There's like standing stones around it. It's over 4,000 years old, and when they excavated it, they found flint tools. The other cyst is supposed to be on the outside somewhere. I'm not sure where. They discovered the other cyst by accident. There was some disturbance. The military were like using the site for something or the other, and they found the other cyst. I'm not sure where exactly it is, but when they did the proper excavation, they found the three that I've just identified, and as I said, there's one more somewhere. The satellite image for this place is really good as well. How great is this? It's a Bronze Age grave. It's over 4,000 years old. Yeah, I'm not seeing where the other cyst is, but there is another one somewhere. There's probably 5 cysts altogether. There might have been 1 or 2 even in the centre. But there was one on the outskirts of the wall. So there could be more underneath all those stones. They just excavated the cysts themselves. They didn't excavate the entire site. You got this small other set of stones over here, which I noticed. I told you we'd be going to see a Bronze Age grave site eventually. This place is littered with them. There's another one up there somewhere, which we won't be going to see, but and as I said, there's a Bronze Age graveyard which we'll be talking about later on. So this here is WWII. It's a 18th century farmhouse. It was abandoned sometime in the 1940s, although this wooden structure is quite new. Bit of an eyesore, to be honest. It was abandoned in the 1940s. It fell into disrepair quite quickly. We've seen bastels that are older than this with better condition. There's a couple of swings on the trees. There's that one there and there's one over there. Local legends would have you say that on a calm day when there's no wind, they still swing. If you believe that kind of stuff. Possibly an outhouse. Crags here are impressive. A bit of a wall as well. Look at the size of that rock. That's huge. You got some little steps here. You got some more walls here. Looks like it formed part of a terraced garden connected with the farmhouse by the looks of it, I guess. Oh, that's a nice little secret spot. You could definitely have a wild camp there. Nice and hidden. Let's climb up onto the top now that we're this far up, any case. Wow. Nice rhododendrons again. Quite high up. I'm liking this place. I like the rocks more than I do the house. I wonder if the house was abandoned because of the military, World War II. They took over by them and then they just left. Kind of would tie in with the military interfering with WWII. Oh wow, it's all ferns here. Some big boulders. Yeah, I quite like this place. It's nice, isn't it? Like all these little bits of wall and rhododendrons. Yeah, we'll try and do this walk in June when the rhododendrons are out. Definitely. Right, let's get cracking. There's one more place to see before the end of the walk. So back to the house. We're going to head back onto the track. This is actually the first time I've been here. I've been pretty close to here a few times, but never actually came to this point. This post here marks the path that we're looking for, and it's marked with a public right-of-way sign, public bridle-way. I'm going to head along this path. We will be coming back to this one because the walk finishes over there. So when you're walking along this path, you need to keep your eyes on the ground because there's a stone that marks where we have to leave this path and head into the heather. So here's the marker stone. It says CH, it's got an arrow, and there's a pathway through the heather just here. This is the path we need to take. So over there in the sunshine is where this section ends. I still think I've got about 4 miles to walk back to the castle, thereabouts. In any case, we come across this path and then suddenly there's a hole with some steps going into the earth. And although it's a lot easier to find than last time I was here, you still wouldn't have known it was here. So this here is Katherine's hole. Katherine is an old border word for thief. So it's like thief's hole or robber's hole. Now, romantic stories will have you that it was used for smuggling and the time of the reivers and what have you. But it could also have just been used as a prison, to be honest. They could have just like caught someone who was a robber and stuck them in here for a bit. I mean, that's just one of many, many theories of why those steps are there. The cave itself is a fault line between rocks that's covered over. Let's go inside. See this here, like shelf almost. You almost feel like there was a body or something on there, wouldn't you? Or someone slept on it. Try not to put too much light on it. So yeah, that kind of looks like it's gold, but it's actually a fungus that grows on the wall. Hence people have been writing their names in it, which is pretty ugly to do. Let's try and dim the light a little bit because I think there's too much light coming through the torch. See how dark it goes when I twist it off. It's like a tunnel, isn't it? In fact, one of the legends of this place is that it was a tunnel that connected with the cave on the hen hole. And what happened was that a group of men decided to go and explore the tunnel. And they came along here, and then some of them decided to go back, and others continued, and they got as far as where it was like the hurlstone, and they were underneath what they believed to be the hurlstone when they started hearing fairies' voices above them. And fairies busy dancing around the hurlstone. I'm going to watch my feet a little bit here. It's a lot wetter than I remember it being as well. It's a bit muddy underneath. Right. is as far as I'm going. You can slide underneath there and it leads to a chamber, but the chamber's a dead end. You can't go any further, but there's no way I'm going to slide through that mud because I don't want to get dirty. That's looking back, and I'll switch the torch off and you can see what it's like in the dark. There you go. You see absolutely nothing on the camera. You can see a pinhole of light if you're actually here in person, but not much. And then it's just going back the way we came. So as you can tell, because it leads to a dead end, the story about the tunnel as far as the hen hole is a load of rubbish. It didn't go back that far. It certainly didn't even go as far as the hailstone. The floor's a little bit uneven here. There we go. These boulders would have fallen from the top at one point. It's a happy thought, isn't it? Now, last time we came along here, there was some moths and stuff hidden away. I always like the natural daylight entering into caves and mines. So I'll switch the torch off for this last bit coming out. You see, it definitely looks as though it's been like carved out, this bit. Wow, it's nice and cool in there, and it's really warm when you come out. The hot air really hits you as you're coming out. Now, if you were to head straight across the Hebburn, almost directly straight across to like where it's marked on the map as a cairn, that's a Bronze Age graveyard. But I'm not going to march across the Hebburn. So one of the other theories for Katherine Hole is could have been used as a burial chamber, hence the steps, and that platform that I pointed out where you could put a body or sleep. Might have been a body there once upon a time. Obviously it's a natural cave, it's a natural fault line, but those steps are definitely man-made, and that shelf definitely looks as though it's man-made. So a quick look across at the views before we continue to the end. That's Ross Castle over there, that's in Maryland. Means that all the way around it is 150 metres. It was the second hill my daughter ever did. And weather coming in, clouds on top of the Cheviot. Okay, let's get to the end of this section and then I can walk back to my car along the road. So when you get back to the main path, we're heading up towards that tower over there. This here marks the end of section 31, and if I was doing it car to car there would be a car here to take me back, but there isn't, so I will have to do about 4 miles back along the road. So how did I find, let me shelter from the wind, how did I find section 31? Hot. That's basically, I mean the morning was just really hot. It wasn't ideal conditions for walking, it was just far too hot. I was wearing gaiters. You don't need gaiters unless you're going to see that big rock, The big rock's probably not worth it unless you're into that climbing history and stuff, so I would probably just skip that, and then just don't need gaiters for the rest of the walk. The church was a pleasant surprise. That was a very beautiful place to be. Buick Hill stole the show. The views at the top of there were absolutely brilliant. I mean, the two Iron Age hill forts, the World War II pillbox and the rock carvings, they were just like added bonuses compared to the view. And normally I'll go like berserk over like the history of the place, but like the view just stole it. After the views, I think the second highlight was the WWII cairn. That's like history there. That's like over 4,000 years old burial site, and you can tell as well that's 4,000 years old. That was really cool. I really enjoyed that. WWII itself, very surprised at how deteriorated the place is, considering that it was only abandoned in the 1940s. As I said, we've been to bastels which are in better condition than that farmhouse. I'm not sure if the armies had something to do with that. Could be. I don't know the full story of why the farmhouse was abandoned, but I do know that the army were in that area because A, you had the pillbox, and B, they disturbed the Bronze Age burial site. So other than that, yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. And obviously Katherine Hole, not as secret as it used to be. The path's very clear. Didn't used to be a very clear path. It used to be like heather bashing, which is the reason why I put gaiters on. But as I said, you don't need gaiters anymore for that. So if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below, hit the subscribe button, and share with your friends on social media. And I'll catch you on the next one. I'm heading this way 4 miles.
Digging through a closet, walled cities, past lives and boxes.